I was absolutely hooked. I love the shows with the Catholic apologist. I love the shows with the sort of day-to-day psychologist, Greg and Lisa Popchak. I love hearing not just of other people's problems who call in, but I love getting the Catholic take on how to deal with day-to-day reality.
The Guadalupe Radio Network, radio for your soul.
And welcome back. You're listening to the Catholic Drive Time Show. Today is Friday, July 14, 2023, in the year of our Lord. And these are your headline news for this morning. Catholic news agency is reporting that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration on Thursday announced the approval of the first non-prescription oral contraceptive called Opal, or Opil. Catholic World News and The Pillar are reporting the Alaska Department of Corrections has effectively banned the celebration of the Mass in the state's prison, with a new policy that, quote, no altar wine or other alcoholic beverages will be used by anyone who is involved with any activity, end quote. That's very concerning. Anti-Catholicism on the rise. Catholic news agency is reporting in the latest twist in the 40-year-old cold case of the disappearance of 15-year-old Emanuela Orlandi, who lived in Vatican City. Investigators are reportedly looking into the possibility involving the uncle of the missing Vatican girl. Quote, regarding the reports involving a relative of Emanuela, it is noted that the correspondence in question expressly indicates that there was no violation of the sacramental seal of confession, end quote, Vatican spokesman Matteo Bruni said. Catholic World News and Catholic News Agency are reporting Loyola University of Chicago is offering a course on transgender medicine. The Jesuit school offers a course including instruction on gender reassignment for children. Jesuit schools, are they Catholic? I don't know. And finally, Catholic News Agency is reporting Republican lawmakers on the House Judiciary Committee on Wednesday pressed FBI Director Chris Wray on a leaked memo from the Bureau's Richmond Division that describes an investigation into Catholic communities. The internal memo leaked to the press outlines Richmond's FBI's investigation of, quote, radical traditionalist Catholics. It claimed that violent extremists have sought out and attended traditional Catholic houses of worship and suggested tripwire or source development within churches that offer the Latin Mass and radical traditionalist Catholic online communities. As they always hate on the Catholics, especially the traditional ones. I wonder why. Latin Mass? Dangerous to the U.S. government? I guess so. And I'm Adrian Fonseca, and these are your headlines through a Catholic lens. Yeah, I think it's very funny that the greatest threat to the American government right now is the Latin Mass and traditional Catholics. What does that say about our government if the Latin Mass is what's scaring them? Very strange, I would argue. Very strange, don't you think? I would think so. Now, I want to talk about this article. And I think it's interesting because this is something that I talk about pretty often in private. I don't know if I've talked about this on the radio much or at all, but I think this is very interesting. The article is called To Catch a Killer by Crisis Magazine. The author of it is John Grodilski, or Grondilski. There you go. I knew I could say it. The article says, enforcing the small laws can lead to reduction of violations of the big laws. Not on the basis of broken windows theory, but a Catholic theology of sin. Now, I think it's interesting because the broken windows theory, I think, makes a lot of sense. So, I mean, I don't have a problem with that. But the broken windows theory is that if you enforce the small crimes, so if someone breaks a window, you give them the punishment that's due to that. You don't just be like, oh, well, I guess you can get off. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal theology, as my friend David Magianis will say. It's not a big deal theology. Instead, it is a big deal, and you have to enforce it. And if you enforce the small laws, you'll prevent the larger laws. One, because of deterring people, and two, because you correct the mistakes that are made. It's kind of like your kid, right? If you have a kid and he's misbehaving, Imagine if you just let him get away with anything, and then one day he commits a really, really bad thing. For instance, let's say he slaps his mother in the face, and then you just explode on him and try to punish him. And he's thinking, why am I getting punished? I've never been punished before. It makes no sense. Well, this is what happens. You create bad people by refusing to punish them on the smaller crimes. Now, here the article says, Max Emerson, a 25-year-old teacher from Kentucky, was murdered the morning of July 5th on Michigan Avenue in Washington, D.C., just next to the Catholic University of America. He was in town for a conference and sightseeing on his way to the Metro Washington subway. The nearest station is the Brooklyn CUA, just outside the Catholic University of America's property. Now, I've ridden on that subway many times, actually, and that's very concerning to think about. I've ridden that subway a few times going to CUA or going to the Dominican House of Studies, which is right across the street from CUA. America's murder rate is on the rise, particularly in big cities. There were 203 murders in Washington in 2022. And as of July 10th in 2023, the city has posted 129 murders. The media touted the drop in Washington murders from 2021 to 2022, proving that there are, quote, lies, damned lies, and statistics, end quote. 2022 was marked as a more than 10% decline in murders over the previous year, though in both years killing exceeded 200. And while media outlets hawked 2022's decline in murder rate over the previous year, not many people are mentioning that on July 10th, Washington's killing rate was 17% higher than the same time last year. Now, I want to raise a question. I don't have answers to it, but I will admit I have suspicions. Emerson was killed in broad daylight in the morning on his way to the subway. I want to know something. Did his killer ever evade paying his metro fare? Is there any video of the killer whose picture has been released either arriving at or escaping that fateful day via Brooklyn CUA metro station? And if there is, did he jump the fare gate? Does he ever appear anywhere on metro videotapes? There is no day that I don't see people, especially young men, leaping over turnstiles. It happens in the morning, along with some marijuana smoking. In afternoon, it happens with metro officials standing right there, seeing it, and doing nothing. They don't do anything because it's not, quote, worth it. The D.C. City Council, in the name of equity and social justice, changed the law so that fare invasion is no longer a criminal but a civil offense, something like a parking ticket, the penalty being $50. Virginia and Maryland still have $100 fines for beating the fare gate, but the majority of the metro runs through the wannabe state home rule district. An example of the absurdity is in metro signage, pleading that you please pay your fare before riding. If you don't, you're told Metro Transit Police could issue a fine, followed by possible fines based on jurisdiction. DC disparity prominent. Everybody knows it's a ruse. Well, I didn't. I paid for the fare. When he took office at New York City's mayor, Rudy Giuliani introduced a no-tolerance policy on fare beating. Turnstile jumpers were ticketed and even arrested. As they were processed, it became apparent that a lot of the free riders had other criminal records. By catching them on the minor act of fare beating, they were also held to account for more serious violations of the law. His no tolerance of fare beaters and shakedown squeegee washers soaping your windshield was rooted in the broken windows theory of James Wilson. Put simply, the broken windows thesis holds that when antisocial behavior is tolerated, it metastasizes and expands. One broken window in the neighborhood exerts a pressure on the homeowner to fix it. But if it's left unrepaired, people get accustomed to the decline. So more windows get broken, property values go down, and the likelihood of breaking and entering through those busted windows goes up. The way to avoid neighborhood decay is not the massive infusion of grant money after its decline, and it's de-incentivizing the beginnings of decline in the little things, like stopping fare beaters before they push passengers onto the tracks. Now, I think this is a good instinct This is a good instinct to have because, yes, these are things that are happening. People who commit big crimes do, in fact, commit small crimes. And I think it's very important for us to keep in mind that this is the case. Now, how do we understand this? How do we understand this through a Catholic lens? Now, the thing that's important to keep in mind is that sin begets sin, and virtue begets virtue. In fact, doing good things does not make you a good person. That's a very controversial thing nowadays because everybody thinks that they're a good person. Like, I'm a good person. Like, why do you think you're a good person? Well, I like to make people smile. I like to make people laugh. Well, what about that makes you a good person? Oh, I've done good things. I've one time helped someone do X. Does doing something good every once in a while make you a good person? That's something to ponder. When we come back, I want to keep touching on this because there's something profound there that we're going to chip away at. What makes someone a good person? And what creates sin? We're going to find the root of this problem coming up right after this.
Hello, this is Steve Gleason with your 1-minute tool for Catholic evangelism. Here's the question for your non-Catholic friend. Do you know what are the two most common questions after attending a non-Catholic church service? Answer: how was the preaching and how was the worship? Well, here's your 3 best friendship tools for Catholic evangelism. Number 1, evaluation of worship. That's odd. Who's evaluating worship? Well, here's what really is meant by that. How is the music, the singing, and the audible response of the people? And if that were important, wouldn't that be our Lord's decision anyway? Secondly, Catholic teaching. Worship is fundamentally not tied to music and song, though it can be supported by music and song. The 2,000-year history of Catholic worship is primarily about the representing of Jesus' unbloody, timeless sacrifice on every Catholic altar. It is that moment when the bread and wine are changed into Jesus' own body and blood. We then participate in that worship by bringing our own sacrifice of self, whether sorrow or praise. And thirdly, my take. The only evaluation that should be considered after a church or a mass is the evaluation of heart and actions. That is, did we grow in obedience to the royal law of love? Help us, Father.
Hey Donnie, in what gospel do we find the Hail Mary prayer?
The Gospel of Luke.
Do we worship Mary?
No.
What do we do?
Ask her to pray for us.
As parents, we're the primary educators of our Catholic faith to our children, and if you don't know your Catholic faith as well as you should, that's okay. Just tune in daily to the Guadalupe Radio Network by logging online to grnonline.com. The Guadalupe Radio Network. Listen, learn, love, and pass it on.
And welcome back to Catholic Drive Time. This is your host, Adrian Fonseca. It's so good to be on with you today. We're talking about some major problems in America. We're talking about specifically in Washington, D.C. However, this is a problem that is all over America, whether it be San Francisco, L.A., Houston, Louisiana, whatever city you can name, there are problems. If it's a major city, it's probably going to be a problem in your city. And that is that crime rates are going up. Over and over again, crime rates are going up. So why is that happening? Why are crime rates going up? Well, the problem is that evil begets evil. Sin begets sin. Sanctity, like vice, is contagious. And so if we have vice, and vice is promoted over and over again, and is fostered, that's going to lead to more vice. And if it's not corrected, it can only get worse. Now, this is a principle in theology because what does sin do to you? What does sin do to you? Sin darkens the intellect and weakens the will. So if you do not correct your sin, if you do not go to confession, receive the sacramental grace of confession, the more sin that you commit, the dumber you get, and the more difficult it becomes to resist the temptations towards sin. And so the way this works, the way this plays out in reality, is that somebody who is a murderer does not wake up one morning and say, hey, I'm a murderer now. I'm going to go kill someone. In some cases, we call them crimes of passion. People are enraged and they see something and they react and they kill someone. But most of the time, when it comes to premeditated murder, when it comes to things like that, these things are fostered. It's one small sin that begets a larger sin. Someone tells a white lie. They tell a white lie. And there's even jokes about this. There's the old, I think it was a Disney Channel movie that came out when I was a kid called Big Fat Liar. Maybe you saw it. Maybe your kids saw it. Big Fat Liar. And it was following the story of how somebody makes these small lies that become larger lies and larger lies and larger lies until the lie has gotten out of control. And it's very difficult to put the genie back in the bottle. Now, this is a very big problem because your small sins snowball into larger sins. So your lying can turn into stealing. Your stealing can turn into burglary. Your burglary can turn into murder. All these things go in sequence. Now, many people might say, well, I do these small sins and I don't become a murderer. Many people do these small sins, they don't become murderers. I'm not saying that every person who does this follows that path, but I'm saying every person that ends up at the far end did follow that path. And the only way to stop the snowball from going down the hill is the sacrament of confession. Because you are in the snowball. You're going down the hill. And can someone who is rolling down the hill, can a snowball stop itself? No. I mean, we know this even from basic physics. An object in motion stays in motion until an object acts upon it. So what is going to be acting upon you to get you to stop? Well, it's the grace. It's the grace of a sacramental confession. And so how do we solve the crime problem? Well, there are two ways to do this. The two ways to do this is one, through conversion. We have to convert the country. I mean, that's just a necessity. We must convert the country. One, for the salvation of souls, and two, to get rid of all the problems we have. And then the second thing we have to do is enforce the small laws. We have to enforce the small laws, whether it be something like paying your fare, whether it be something like speeding. And I know I speed quite often. It's something that I drive way too fast. I'm well aware. Just ask my grandparents, they'll tell you. But this is something that we have to do. If we start enforcing the small laws, people will be less willing to do greater violations of crime, even if it's only out of fear of punishment. That'll still make us a safer place. So we have to enforce our laws. We have to. What is a nation without laws? It's no nation at all. It's anarchy. And that's where we're headed. We're headed in a place where we may have these laws, but there's no punishment for the laws. And so a teaching without a discipline is no help at all. There's no help to have a teaching that does not have an enforcing body. You can't have a legislative branch, a judicial branch, without an executive branch. There has to be a way to enforce the rules and laws that are being put out. That's very, very important. This goes for families, even on the local level. Everything that's true of the larger level is also true of the local level, or vice versa. If you have all these rules for your kids, and these rules, if they're followed, it'll guarantee peace in the home, but nobody follows them, what will happen? If there's no way of enforcement, you're not going to spank your kids. You're not going to ground your kids. You're not going to punish them in any way. Well, when they break the rules, why will they care? Now, this is important to relate back to the sacrament of confession, because in the sacrament of confession, it is sufficient that we obey the laws of God and go to confession out of fear of hell. Now, the more perfect thing is to go and reject your sin out of love for God. But this reflects back to society. Yes, it would be better if everybody did the right thing because it's the right thing. It would be a better society if everybody was thinking, you know what? I support society and I want to do what's best for society. And so I'm only going to do good things and I'm going to avoid bad things. That's simply just not the case. It is sufficient for people to say, I'm going to do good and avoid evil because I am afraid of what will happen to me if I don't. Now, finishing the article from Crisis, it says, the average American experiences the consequences of their management by the rise in petty crime, if you can call shoplifting short of 4 figures petty. But I'd challenge the sophistry behind this argument. Does indulging petty criminals really lead to focusing on big criminals? Or, aware of the snowball characteristic of evil, does it in fact help petty criminals transition into big criminals? That's why I want to know whether our Washington murderer shows up on any Metro cameras. That's the finishing of the article. I recommend checking out that article in full by Crisis Magazine. Now, I love the way David Magianis puts this. David Magianis, he's our business manager here at the GRN. He calls it, it's not a big deal. And nothing is a big deal. Nothing is a big deal in this world. Someone doesn't do their job. It's not a big deal. We'll take care of it. We'll get the job done. Somebody shows up to mass and they're wearing a football jersey instead of a coat. It's not a big deal. God doesn't really care what you wear. Somebody drops the host on the floor. It's not a big deal. God's God. He doesn't get hurt. It goes for everything. Everybody says it's not a big deal. Nothing is a big deal. But yes, it is a big deal. It is a big deal because small things become big things. And even the big things, whenever you think nothing is a big deal, the big things like desecration of the Holy Eucharist becomes not a big deal. A very concerning situation. A very concerning situation that we see, and we have to reject this not a big deal mentality. Yes, we have to say it is a big deal and we need to correct it. And we need to fix the problem. And that's very important that we keep in mind. It's a difficult saying because we all want to be nice. We all want to be loved. And to correct small errors, you're seen as pedantic, rigid. And nobody likes to be called those things. Nobody likes to be called these names. You're being mean. No one likes that. And so what do people do? They say, well, it's not a big deal. I'll just look past it. It's not a big deal. This is the wrong attitude. And it comes even to something as simple as how we dress. Should we dress modestly? Yes, of course. Is it a big deal when we dress immodestly? Yes, of course. Just read 1 Corinthians chapter 11, and verse, I believe, 15. Maybe it's 14. The angels look upon us, and they witness our modesty and immodesty. Do we want to offend our guardian angel? Do we want to offend the angels and the saints in heaven who look upon us? Or do we want to give them glory? We want to bring joy to God. We can do this by our modesty. At the very least, to Holy Mass. Can we not dress appropriately and dress up for Holy Mass? Or is that not a big deal? And how many of these small, not a big deals become big deals? Become problems that now they're too difficult to correct. Now it's almost impossible to correct because we refuse to correct the small errors. We refuse to create virtue. And what is virtue? Virtue is the habituated good. It is not, let me repeat, it is not doing good things every once in a while. Being virtuous is to do good things over and over and over again. It's the habituated doing of the good. It becomes a habit. When you do good over and over again, whenever it becomes a habit, then and only then are you virtuous. And we are called to be virtuous. You and I, we're called to be virtuous. This is a high calling. It is something that God has called us to. And what are those virtues? Well, we have the theological virtues of faith, hope, and charity, which we should pray that God grants us those graces. But then there are also the 4 cardinal virtues of of prudence, of temperance, of courage. And there's another one that I'm forgetting off the top of my head. I'm forgetting the 7 cardinal virtues. But these are the things that we have to keep in mind. These are the things that we have to promote. And the only way we can do them are habituating them. So how do we do it? You may say, well, I don't have some of these virtues. Well, the way that you foster virtue is by doing virtuous things. And you got to do it over and over again. At first, it is going to be difficult. At first, you're going to have to say, oh, yeah, I don't lie. Don't lie. No, not even a white lie. Not even a white lie. No, I'm not going to do something bad. I'm going to do something good instead. You have to keep those things in your mind. You have to do them over and over again. And when you do them over and over again, then it becomes a custom to you. Then you have created virtue. It's not dressing modestly once on a Sunday. It's dressing modestly every single day until you change your mindset, until you change your habits, until you're like, why would I dress immodestly? Why would I even do that? Why would I want to do that? You have to change for the better. And the thing that can help you do that, the sacraments. So receive them regularly, and they will help you grow in virtue. That's going to do it for the first hour. If you could join us in the second hour, Dave Palmer is going to hop on with us. We're going to talk about Socrates. It's going to be a good time. We'll be right back with more right after this.
For victory in life, we've got to keep focused on the goal, and the goal is heaven. The key to winning is choosing to do God's will and love others with all you've got. Sacrifice, discipline, and prayer are essential. We gain strength through God's word, and we receive grace from the sacraments. And when we fumble due to sin, and it's going to happen, confession puts us back on the field. So if you haven't been going to Mass weekly, get back in the game. We're saving your seat on the starting bench this Sunday. Welcome home.
Hello, this is Steve Gleason with your 1-minute tool for Catholic evangelism. Here's the question for your non-Catholic friend. Your only daughter met a fine young man who was a committed Mormon. She now wants to join his church. What's your answer? Well, here's your 3 best friendship tools for Catholic evangelism. Number 1, a reason for no, doctrinal positions such as the deity of Jesus and the Trinity. Your reason for yes, you deem seemingly moral character as superseding biblical truth. Secondly, orthodoxy. Your answer is probably no, but how and why? Your resistance to Mormon doctrine does not just come straight down from the Bible. It comes from the first 5 centuries of brilliant theologians, bishops, and popes. These Catholics wrote, debated, and fought for truth. Example, in 250 AD, 311, and 417, 3 different popes excommunicated 3 different heretics, Sabellius, Arius, and Pelagius. They denied the Trinity, the eternal deity of Jesus, or taught that human effort warranted salvation. Would your pastor excommunicate a heretic? Well, unfortunately, your pastor can only remove someone from his local congregation. But that's okay. That guy will probably end up being welcomed at a church down the street.
I actually was gone from the Catholic Church for 35 years. I want to get to heaven. I don't know if I will. I mean, I worry about it. But I not only want to get to heaven at the moment of my death, I want to find as much heaven as possible here on earth. So I need help. I don't know why I turned on my radio, because I've kept my radio off for years. And once I turned it on, I was absolutely hooked.
The Guadalupe Radio Network, radio for your soul. Shining the light of truth on the path of salvation. This is the Guadalupe Radio Network, radio for your soul.
And welcome back to the Catholic Drive Time Show. This is your host, Adrian Fonseca. So good to be on with you today. Speaking of virtue, talking about virtue and vice, but specifically virtue, is joining us right now is our dear friend, Dave Palmer. He's the executive director of the Guadalupe Radio Network in the Dallas-Fort Worth office. And he's joining us right now. But more to the point, he is the host of Back to the Father. Good morning to you, Dave.
Good morning, Adrian. Good to be with you.
Praise be to God. It's good to have you on. Now, we're talking about virtue and vice, and I guess it's not really Socrates' field, but we're talking about Socrates again today. We talked about it last week, and we want to follow up on that conversation. But virtue still relates to him. I mean, Aristotle is considered the man of virtue ethics, the creator of virtue ethics, but perhaps there is some connection with Socrates there. So let me throw that question at you out of left field. What are your thoughts?
No, I think it's very much connected with Socrates as well. He definitely had a virtue ethics as his. Let me just take these off. I got a little feedback coming through, but yeah, virtue ethics. He talked about wisdom. In fact, the wisest man is the one who knows he is not wise. The mind seeks the truth, and the will seeks the good. And so I would say that virtue was what Socrates would define as what makes a man excellent. This is the excellence of a person is how virtuous he is. So I think it ties in very much to Socrates.
Very good, very good. So it's good to hear. Now, the other thing that's very interesting about Socrates is that some of his teachings, I think, are much more accessible to people than people like to think. They hear philosophy, they hear Greek, they hear Socrates, a name that they don't really hear too often. They're like, yikes, I don't want to dive into that. But I think Socrates' teachings are actually fairly accessible. What do you think?
I think so. And also they have to do with common sense. Some of the things that are rejected in the culture today are what Socrates was talking like. For example, that there is a telos, there's a purpose for human life, that there's human nature, that there's something that we should be striving for, which is largely rejected by most modern, relativists. And, Socrates was debating the sophists of his day that were relative. I mean, relativism was alive and well back in the time of Socrates, and some of the Platonic dialogues had to do with Socrates debating the sophists of his day. The whole idea of the summum bonum, which there is a supreme good for which all people should be seeking. Okay, this is Socrates. This is what he taught about through, of course, Plato, who wrote the dialogue. So I think it's a common sense ethics, and of course, common sense largely has been thrown out the door these days.
Yeah, one other thing that I find very interesting is the kind of concept that people have about about God. And I think it's very interesting because some of the objections that Socrates raises to the gods with an S, and people would lump at our God, the monotheistic God, the God of Jesus Christ, and they would say, oh, well, see, Socrates didn't believe in God, and therefore he's an atheist, and therefore that debunks God. Explain why that Socrates' critiques of the Greek gods does not apply to our God.
Yeah, I think he did believe in the monotheism and rejected the polytheism of his day. And I think it just makes sense that there would be only one God, and having multiple gods who have flaws and lack of character like the Greek gods didn't make sense. And so I think this is one of the reasons why he was ultimately killed, given the hemlock because of the corruption of the youth. And also that he called people, to task about their own arrogance, their own lack of humility, their pride. And so that's why he was unjustly killed, as we talked about last week, just like Jesus, as basically a martyr for the cause. But, interestingly, I've heard that Plato, who, of course, represented a lot of Socrates' beliefs, was not a big fan of Homer, because Homer, of course, wrote a lot about the Greek gods, and Plato did not appreciate the fact that these Greek gods had a lot of flaws. And he thought that by lifting up these Greek gods who had a lot of flaws and imperfections, it was a way of teaching young people the wrong way to live. Okay, so it wasn't, if you're going to live virtuously, you're probably not going to be imitating these Greek gods because they had so many flaws.
No, that's a great point, because we think about virtue ethics and we think about these things and we say, okay, well, you know what? If the gods can do it, then I can do it. And this is a grave problem that people have. This is why we trust not in princes and these pagan gods. Obviously, the St. Paul says that all the gods of the pagans are demons, and so they do bad things. So Socrates asked, well, do we do what is virtuous because the gods say it is virtuous, or do the gods say it's virtuous because it's virtuous? And the apologists for the pagan gods were like, oh, I don't know. And this is this is often lumped at the monotheistic God, the God of simplicity, the Thomistic God. And the problem that they have, that we don't have, is that for us, God is simple. God is good. He is not doing good things. He is goodness itself. He is the sunum bonum, as you were saying. He is the goodness itself. What are your thoughts there?
Yeah, and I think also, when you talk about simplicity, one of the things that Socrates, I mentioned, I think last week, that Soren Kierkegaard said what Christianity needs today, and of course, Soren Kierkegaard lived a long time ago, is another Socrates. We need somebody who can ask the questions in order to seek the simple truth, like you're talking about. And that's why most of the Platonic dialogues were dealing with zeroing in on definition of things. What is justice? What is love? What is friendship? What is goodness? What is law? And I think if there's one thing that's needed today, it's these conversations. Today, people don't even want to ask the questions. I mean, because there's so much ridiculousness out there that even asking the question can get you into trouble. And we know that, because people are kicked off social media sites for merely raising a question. And that's what I think ultimately got Socrates in trouble, is that he asked too many questions because he was on this relentless pursuit of the truth, because he knew truth would lead to wisdom, and wisdom is virtuous, which brings us back to the original point of virtue.
No, yeah, and then let's talk about that for a second. Humility and virtue. Okay. What is the story? People may or may not have heard this story before, of the Oracle of Delphi. Tell me about that.
Yeah, that's really interesting, because that is where the oracle was related to Socrates, that he was the wisest of all men. And so he, realizing he wasn't the wisest because he was aware of how unwise he was, he went on a task to prove the oracle wrong. And so he walked around Athens talking to men who he thought were wise. And in speaking to them, he realized that they actually believed that they were wise. And so because they believed that they were wise, he realized they weren't. So he finally came to the conclusion, because at least he knew how much wisdom he lacked, he thought the oracle, well, must be right. And so, that's really the key to Socrates' teaching, is humility, is realizing that the pursuit of wisdom means not thinking you're wise. Kind of like, Dr. Ray on his show jokes around a lot about winning the humility award, because anybody who acknowledges how humble they are or brags about it clearly isn't humble. So I think it's kind of the same principle.
And there's a prayer an old friend of mine would say. He says, Lord, make me humble, and if you do, don't let me know it. And I think that's hilarious.
Yeah,
but
exactly.
No, I mean, it's a good point, because the issue with the whole mentality today is that it's not that what we don't know that gets us in trouble. It's what we know for certain that just isn't so. And I think that's really the crux of the matter. Everybody thinks they're so certain about their opinion about things, their ideas of reality, and yet they simply just don't know the truth of reality. It's so fundamentally, it's so crazy how fundamental we've kind of fallen off the wagon.
Yeah, and it's like I said, there's these very simple things like, teleology, that there is a certain good that all men should be pursuing. There's something in our nature that's leading us to that summum bonum. And if we could just, like, as a culture, agree to that and at least have a debate, and most people would say, well, it's probably not ultimately food and sex and what job you have and how big your house is. I mean, people would realize those don't ultimately lead to final happiness. Let's have that conversation. And I think that's going to lead to the fact that there is something supernatural that is our ultimate good, which is another thing that Socrates was all about. He believed in the immortality of the soul, which was unique back at that time because most of his colleagues didn't believe in that. So he emphasized the soul over the goods of the body. Okay, and that was pretty revolutionary in Greece at the time.
Yeah, that is very interesting that these ideas, and we talked about this last week, how the Greek philosophy created by Socrates, then Plato, then Aristotle, then the students of Aristotle, was really setting the stage for Christ to come in and to explain all these things, and everything would make more sense. Since before Christ and before Socrates, everybody was either they believed in the transmigration of the soul, meaning the soul moves to different bodies, reincarnation kind of thing, or they believed in the annihilation of the soul, where you just went off, you died, that's it. And it is when the ideas of Socrates and Plato and Aristotle helped shape us and helped shape the mind of the most popular and powerful government in the world at the time to be able to be prepared to receive the teachings of our Lord, which are the true teachings, and that what we're talking about here, amongst other things, is that the soul is immortal. What are your thoughts about that, Dave?
Yeah, last week we mentioned about the logos. Logos is a really important term when it comes to philosophy and, of course, theology as well, because the logos to Plato was the ultimate good, because he had this world of forms, and the greatest of the forms was goodness itself. And then, as we say, 300 years later, goodness, the logos, is born into the world. And so it was all preparing the world for the incarnation of goodness, the logos. And we no longer have to look into the sky for the ultimate good, because he was born among us. And so that's why I think a good little knowledge of Greek philosophy is interesting, because it was in some ways a preparation for Christ.
For sure. Now, there's not going to be a Back to the Father show today, but if people are thinking, I want to get more of this, Dave, how can people connect with you and make sure that they are going to be able to see you whenever you go back live on Back to the Father?
Yeah, we're kind of like your studio. I know you guys are under construction and everything's the same in the Dallas studio. And so we're not going to have a show for several weeks. I'm taking a vacation and we have an event next week. But I think the beginning of August will be our next Back to the Father. And if somebody would like to get on the email list and just find out about when the next program is going to be and what the topic is and that kind of thing, you can just email us backtothefather@grnonline.com. So backtothefather@grnonline.com.
Now, if people are like, Dave, I cannot wait until August to get all this goodness, where can people see some things that you're putting out?
Yeah, well, they can, of course, they're archived, I believe, through the GRN website, grnonline.com. And of course, you can find them on our social media sites as well, YouTube and Facebook. So if you look hard enough, you'll find them. I promise they're out there.
Well, I was thinking of your other channel where you go over the Summa. I'm forgetting the name of your other channel. I watch it all the time. You just did a show on Aquinas on one of the Immaculate Conception. I really enjoyed. But is that just Dave Palmer?
Yeah, interestingly, that, by my standards, that video blew up. It's got about 1,000 views or something, by my standards anyways. And it's interesting how people are so fascinated by the Immaculate Conception, and people are like, oh, why does it even matter? Who cares? And like negative comments, and people were really intrigued by that. And so, yeah, that's my YouTube channel. I think if you just search for Dave Palmer or Summa, and then I have a website, studythesumma.com as well.
There you go. Well, that's going to do it. We're going to go into the game show. Call now. We're giving away a prize today. 877-757-9424. 877-757-9424.
Hello, this is Steve Gleason with your 1-minute tool for Catholic evangelism. Here's the question for your non-Catholic friend. According to 1 Corinthians 11, receiving communion in an unworthy manner can result in sickness and or death. If communion is simply wafer and juice as opposed to body and blood, doesn't the possibility of sickness and death just seem a little over the top? So here's the 3 best friendship tools for Catholic evangelism. First off, in the Bread of Life discourse in John 6, Jesus says, "He that eats my flesh and drinks my blood dwells in me and I in him." Note, he said drink my blood. He did not say drink my wine or grape juice. Well, no commentary needed there. Secondly, you going to walk? The disciples did not walk away from Jesus over a symbolic teaching of body and blood. They walked over how literally Jesus was teaching them. Also, they did not walk over the idea that feeding on Christ's body and blood is feeding on the Bible. No, no, no. And thirdly, your new response. My Catholic friend, when you are asked, hey, have you received Christ? Your answer is yes, every Sunday at Mass. That's how I know objectively that Christ is in me.
All my life, I was searching for something that seemed to be just one step away. Perfect soulmate, the ideal job, that big adventure. And just when I thought I found what I was missing, I realized that I was never really fulfilled. Then I discovered what I was searching for was really faith in God and belonging to a church. You can find what you've been searching for too. Come and see at CatholicsComeHome.com.
Welcome to another round of Fear and Trembling, the Catholic trivia game show that helps you work out your salvation by the seat of your pants. It's a 50-50 chance and prizes are involved. Avoid the weeping and gnashing of teeth. Call now to take your shot. 877-757-9424.
877-757-9424. 877-757-9424. That's the number to call to be part of the game show Fear and Trembling, where we give out prizes and you could win. You could be the winner. Today's the day we give out the prize. So you might find out today while you're on the line whether or not you are going to be a winner. How do you do so? Just pick up the phone, 877-757-9424. Now, this is going to be a good game show. I'm looking at the questions here, and I got to say, this is going to be a fun one. Now, you may be asking, okay, what do I do here? And didn't you say that Tito is on vacation? So how is this game going to work? Well, let me tell you. So I have 3 Catholic trivia questions here. The trick is I'm not going to ask you the trivia questions. I'm actually going to ask Taylor the trivia questions. And so he's going to give me an answer, and it's going to be your job to tell me whether or not he is right or whether or not he is wrong. And that means even if you just guess, you're going to have a 50-50 chance of getting the question correct. And every right answer goes into the coffee cup of divine providence to win this week's prize, which is a replica of the coffee cup of divine providence signed by yours truly, by Tito Edwards, and by Taylor. So very much a awesome prize, and we're running out of coffee cups. I know we only have just one stack more, and I believe that would be 8 of them. So there's only 8 more coffee cups of divine providence. So if you don't get one, well, as soon as they're gone, they are gone. And along with the coffee cup of divine providence, we are giving away 2 free books donated generously by Bishop Sheen today. So thank you very much to Bishop Sheen today for your generous donation of those books. But we have a caller on the line. Good morning and welcome to the show. Hello? Can you hear me? Let's see. Maybe we got to turn that volume on. There you go. There we go. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Perfect. Perfect. Who am I speaking with?
I am Lucrecia.
Lucrecia, good morning to you.
Oh, I didn't know I was on the phone.
You're on the phone right now. Praise be to God. Is this Lucrecia who listens on Facebook?
Yes.
Ah, praise be to God. Well, welcome. It's nice to hear your voice.
Thank you. It's a surprise.
Well, very good.
I didn't know I wasn't cold.
Oh, there you go. We just snuck you on the air. Now, if you're where are you calling from? What city are you from?
I'm from Frisco, Texas.
Frisco, Texas. Praise be to God. Is the Frisco, Texas? Is that? Let me think. Is that wine country? Not quite. Not quite.
No.
What's Frisco, Texas known for?
Well, it's it's the Cowboys.
Oh, so it's like is it near the San Marcos River?
No.
No. Okay, I got my geography all turned around.
Dallas is it's kind of an hour from Dallas, the Trinity River.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
I got to go and restudy my my Texas geography apparently, because I'm placing Frisco in the complete wrong area of Texas, and I'm like all sorts of confused in my head. So I got to go pull up a map and look at that later. But where are you off to this morning?
It's well, today I'm staying at home.
Praise be to God.
I'm usually driving when I'm listening to you.
Well, it's also good to be at home. I love a good staycation. That's always a lot of fun. But welcome to the show. You're familiar with the game. You're a regular listener. You're a veteran. So you know that things can be tricky. However, you're the first person to ever do the game show with Taylor as the contestant, or as the oh yeah, there you go. Get the applause. Wow. There you go. So good luck. You got to keep your ears tuned, because I don't even know how tricky Taylor can be. We're going to find out together. Are you ready to play, Lucrecia?
I am, but I'm nervous. I don't know if I'm going to get
Don't be nervous. Don't be nervous. We'll be great. Question number 1 here. The Council of Trent rejected and condemned the errors of the so-called Protestant reformers in what years? Taylor.
Ooh. Questions like this, when it comes to a year, are usually the most difficult. But I'm going to go with 1548 to 1567.
1548 to 1557.
Yes,
That's
sir.
What you're saying.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, Lucrecia, I hope that you are actually a savant in history, because this is a toughie. This is a toughie. The question on the board is: the Council of Trent rejected and condemned the errors of the so-called Protestant reformers in what years? 15 seconds on the clock. The answer Taylor gave is 1548 to 1557. And what say you, Lucrecia, from Frisco, Texas, which is not by the San Marcos River, nor is it in wine country?
Well, I think I'm going to go with Taylor.
You're going to go
He
with...
knows more than me.
You're going to go with true, is what you're going with. Are you sure you're going to go with true?
True.
Okay, she's going to go with true. So I'm going to give you the answer anyway, because technically the answer is 1545 to 1563. But
I thought because,
1548 to 1557 is within those years. And so I would say that I'm going to give you the answer correct nonetheless, because technically it's still within those years. So we're going to give you the answer. We're going to say you got it right. You're going to say you got it right. All right, ready for question number 2?
Okay.
You ready for question number 2?
Yes.
Let's do it. Let's do question number 2. What do we call the mystery of the 3 divine persons in one God?
That's a great question.
Thank you. I made it up myself.
I'm going to go with the Holy Trinity.
The Holy Trinity?
Yeah.
I've never seen the word Trinity in the Bible.
Maybe you should read the Bible again. I've seen it multiple times.
You've seen the word Trinity in the Bible? Wow. I want to get your copy of the Bible. I'd like to see that. All right, Lucrecia, the question on the board is 15 seconds on the clock. What do we call the mystery of the 3 divine persons and one God? Taylor seems to think it's the Holy Trinity. What say you, Lucrecia?
Well, it's called the Trinity, the Holy Trinity.
So you're going to go with yes?
Yes, true.
She says it's true. He says you are right, Taylor. And she is correct. You are right, Taylor. Can you believe it? I can barely believe it. But no, actually, the word Trinity doesn't actually appear in the Bible anywhere in the Bible. A fun fact. The Trinity, the Father, Son, the Holy Ghost appear in the Bible, but the word Trinity itself doesn't show up in Scripture anywhere.
No.
So fun fact for the day. So congratulations to you, Lucrecia. You're in 2 for 2. How do you feel so far?
I'm excited.
You're excited. Very good.
I'm still nervous.
It's still nervous. You already got 2 for 2. That's a 100% success rate so far, and good odds for winning the prize this week. So make sure that you hang out with us because your name might be drawn because we got one more question here, and I'm thinking you probably will get this one right. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Question number 3 here. Which cardinal virtue helps one to restrain or moderate the desires for pleasure of the senses?
I'm very confident in this answer.
You are?
Yes. I'm going to go with temperance.
Temperance. Your confidence.
Yes, that's my final answer.
That's your final answer? You don't want to phone a friend?
No.
Are you sure?
I don't think anyone would be up right now. All my friends are probably asleep.
That's true. It's a good point. I don't even have friends, so I wouldn't even know who to call. So, yeah, whenever people ask if I want to phone a friend, I usually just call my grandma.
I'll be your friend.
She'll answer. Oh, thanks,
I'll be
Taylor.
your friend.
I appreciate that. Thanks.
No problem.
All right, Lucretia, 15 seconds on the clock. The question is, which cardinal virtue helps one to restrain or moderate the desires for pleasure of the senses? Taylor seems to think it's temperance. What say you, Lucretia? Is he right or is he wrong? What say you from Frisco, Texas?
To restrain the...
To moderate the desires for pleasure of the senses. Or restrain. Restrain is good too.
Yeah. I think he is... true.
He's saying true. She's saying true. Let's see if you're right. That is correct. It is, in fact, temperance. It is, in fact, temperance. Now, stay on the line. I am currently, as we speak, you can see me shaking up the coffee cup of divine providence, shaking up real good. I'm taking the things out. I'm mixing it in my hand, throwing it back in the cup, shaking it again, making sure that this is not going to be a case where, I accidentally just throw something on the top. Instead, it's all mixed up nice and good. And the winner is Nanuka. There you go. Praise be to God. Sorry, Lucretia. Today is not your chance to win today. Or was your chance to win, but you did not get your name. But make sure you call in the future. We'll make sure at some point you will get your name in that coffee cup of divine providence. But God bless you. God love you. And have a blessed day.
Okay. Thank you so much. It was really amazing to be.
Well, it was amazing to have you on, and you did amazing on the show. So we'd love to have you back. But God bless you, God love you, and have a great rest of your staycation.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and that's going to do it for the first hour of Catholic Drive Time. Or not first hour, that's going to do it for the radio side of Catholic Drive Time. We're going to go into the after show. You can join us, hop on YouTube, Facebook, Rumble, Odyssey, Twitter, and you can interact with us directly. We'd love to have you. But if not, we'll see you back tomorrow. Not tomorrow, tomorrow's Saturday. Man, I am all confused. Monday, we'll see you back Monday, 6 a.m. Central, 7 Eastern, across the Guadalupe Radio Network and Catholic Spirit Radio. God bless you. God love you. And we'll see you very soon.
Thank you for joining us on Your Catholic Drive Time, where it is our pleasure to keep you informed and inspired.
Join us Monday through Friday at the same time, right here on your favorite Catholic radio station.
Don't forget to connect with us. Just go to facebook.com/Catholic Drive Time.
Again, that's facebook.com/Catholic Drive Time.
Be sure to share more than just us today. Share Jesus with everyone you meet.
Bye now, and God love you.
All right, we are back. Welcome to the after show. Thanks for joining us. Jay Coke says he has the real coffee cup of divine providence. So there you go. If that's true, Jay Coke, then what do I have right here? What do I have right here if you have the real coffee cup of divine providence? I'm just wondering. Sounds to me like you have a replica of the coffee cup of divine providence. Now, Ethna says, don't monetize the mug winner. Now, Should we I think what we'll do, and I did not get this approval from anyone, so don't sue me or don't get mad at me if this doesn't actually happen, because I gotta talk to people about this first. But what do you think about if we created new mugs? We make it a little bit nicer. I don't really love the green color scheme. Maybe just like blue and gold. We'll still keep it white with like gold trimming or something like that. I don't know. Get the GRN colors on it, and we sold them in like a CDT merch shop. Would people buy them? I don't know. Let me know what you think. Jay Coke, I'm glad to hear that your coffee cup came in, though. I'm very happy for you. I'm surprised and and kind of upset that it took so long to get to you. Like, that's crazy. It seems like it took 3 weeks to get to you? That's crazy. It should not happen. Jeff Burrier said, I thought I had the original coffee cup of Divine Providence. No. Mm-mm. Sorry, my friend. I love the Burrier family, but the original coffee cup of Divine Providence is right here. Right here. Let's see. Jake Ho said, can we put Adrian's face on the mug? You want my mug on the mug? Why do you want my mug on the mug? Yeah, Taylor thought that joke was good.
Oh, I liked it.
Very good.
Yeah, the real mug is locked up. We just took it out because of the show today.
Yeah. We try to keep it away from people.
Yeah.
Someone, back when Rudy was here, someone tried to break in and steal the mug. They took his computer instead because they couldn't get access to the mug. The mug was too well protected.
We have a lot of security now.
Mm-hmm. Nancy says, we can order CDT swag now. Not yet, but I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about designing some CDT merch. Would people be interested in that? My problem is, I'm not a fan of t-shirts. I'm against t-shirts, but t-shirts are like the easiest thing, and people like t-shirts. So I'm kind of conflicted. Would it be like compromising if I say, if I design a t-shirt?
Well, you could do hats. You could do jackets.
I would love to do a tie. Would people want a tie?
You know what? That's original. I like that.
And people don't use that. Or how about a handkerchief?
Wow. Thinking outside the box. I like it.
I don't know. Let me know what you think.
Or socks.
If you think sauce?
Socks.
Oh, sauce.
Ooh, we could do hot sauce.
I was like, I don't know how to make sauce.
We could do hot sauce.
Do you know how to make hot sauce?
No.
I don't either.
You could probably find someone.
I don't even like hot sauce, to be honest.
Yeah, it's. I think it's a little overrated.
I can't handle spice.
Oh,
that's my problem. I had mesquite beef jerky the other day, and I was burning. I was like, so spicy. Really? It was too spicy for me.
I think hot sauce, it's good, but it's like a little overrated.
Yeah.
The flavor, of course, a lot of vinegar.
What do you taste? You don't taste anything. Your tongue is burning, so you don't even taste the food.
Are you eating like ghost pepper sauce? I guess.
I did have ghost pepper sauce once. A friend of mine. I told the story to the audience before, but I'll tell you the story real quick. My friend invited me to go eat with him, and so we went out to this wing place. I'm forgetting the name of it. It's not the big ones. It's one of the small wing places. I'm trying to remember the name. Brew Wings.
Oh yeah.
And we went there, and we ordered a ton of food, and the bill was coming, and I saw how much I spent, and I was like, holy moly. And this was back when I was in college, and I was making $14 an hour, and I was working like 20 something hours a week because I was in college. And I was like, I do not have money to pay this. Like, oh my goodness. Like, I did have enough money in my bank account, but it was going to be a huge hit to me. And he goes, I'll tell you what, Adrian, I'm going to order some ghost pepper wings. You take a bite out of one, and I'll cover your bill. And I was like, deal.
That's a great friend.
And so I took a bite out of it. I was in so much pain.
Yeah.
It was not worth it.
You have to sign a waiver to eat those.
My lips started swelling up. I was sweating profusely. It was the worst feeling of my life. Would not recommend.
Well, I have a little story real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was on the basketball team in high school, varsity basketball, and we were playing away, and it was like 9 o'clock after the game, and so we decided to go to Buffalo Wild Wings, and they have the ghost pepper wings too. And my coach wanted to do a contest with one of the players, and so one of the seniors decided, I could do it. And so the wings came, and my coach, though, never told anyone, but she ordered plain wings. What she did was she went to the other table, took ketchup, and just put ketchup on them so they looked like the ghost pepper wings. Ate all of them. We thought, like, wow, our coach is like not even human. It was awesome.
That's hilarious. That's so funny. Jay Koch says, "Where is Rudy?" Rudy will be on with us on Monday, so that'll be he'll be on with us on Monday and on Tuesday. So tune in on Monday and Tuesday, and you will get to see Rudy. Rudy. He's back. He's back. Here's Rudy. Let's see. Jay Koch says, "What about Lululemon CDT yoga pants?" Yikes. I'm pass on that one. Ethan says, "Yes, merch." Jay Koch says, "CDT holy hot sauce." Grappling Catholic says, "Handkerchief and tie combo would be cool." I think so too. I've never seen anybody do anything like that, so maybe I will do that. I don't know. Alberti said, "Rudy is in management." Yeah, he'll be back on though, Monday and Tuesday. Jay Koch says, "CDT brand menudo with hominy." Let's see. Grappling Catholic says, "Burn your tongue with the fire of the Holy Ghost." Amy says, "It's not eating unless eyes watering and nose blowing going on." I don't like that, Amy. I don't like it. I don't understand why people like that. I don't get it. Jay Koch says, "People like bourbon. Can CDT make bourbon and sell that?"
Yes.
I don't know how to make bourbon.
Or beer. Beer is probably easier to figure out how to make.
The problem is not making it, it's selling it. Selling beer requires license and all sorts of things. It's a pain in the rear. I know because a friend of mine is working on trying to sell his beer that he brews. He sends me free beer all the time. It's pretty great.
You should bring me some of that. I would love to try it.
Maybe I will.
But I wonder if you have to have a license if you just give it away though, and
you
not
don't
actually sell it.
Yeah, you don't need to license to give it away. We are allowed to brew, and I think all 50 states you're allowed to brew your own beer. Let's see.
There is some dry counties still in the country, which is that's really interesting.
Like dry counties, like they can't sell beer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
you can't sell alcohol.
You can't buy alcohol.
Yeah. Let's see. Alberta says, "You're allergic, Adrian, to it. Toxic shock." I don't know.
Ooh.
I don't think I was allergic. I think it was just burned that bad. I think it's that bad. Let's see. Los Crios said, "You had a female coach in high school?"
Yeah, I knew someone was going to bring that up. She was probably one of the toughest coaches, though, I ever played for.
Oh, there you go.
I think she had something to prove.
Oh.
That's where it comes down to. Yeah.
Jay Koch says, "CDT merch, a special rugged rosary designed by CDT." Oh, we could sell rosaries. That's a good idea, too. Let's see. Paul says, "The obvious would be a CDT travel mug." Oh, that's interesting. A travel mug. That makes sense. Catholic drive time travel mug. Why didn't I think of that? That's a great idea.
Maybe we could get Yeti as a sponsor and they create like Yeti CDT merch.
That's true. They do that, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, they started in Texas too, so they would probably support a Texas show.
Let's see. Yeti brand.
And now I want some hot wings, though. I know I just said I don't like them, but I guess it's just like I'm starving right now. So
yeah, we are. Why do we always end up talking about food?
I don't know.
Today's Friday, so I don't even know what I'm going to eat today. I'm doing the carnivore diet, and so I can't eat meat because it's Friday. I guess I'll just eat eggs. Let's see. You need old water tank. Amy says food products are tough, so many regulations. Good idea, Paul. A travel mug. Amy says tie is easier. We could do both, probably. I don't know. I have to look into it. These are all just ideas. If you're in the Telegram chat, synthesize these ideas that we're throwing out here and just send in your favorite ideas in the Telegram chat, and then I'll write those down and we'll look into making that a thing. Paul says Hebrews. It's in the Bible. That's true. That's true.
I like that joke. That's great.
Yeah.
Let me do the applause. I got to do the applause on
There
that
you
one.
go. There you go.
That's the joke of the week right there.
Jay Coke, is Sugarland a dry county? No, I don't think so.
No.
Nancy said no. Definitely not, because I've bought alcohol.
It's the smaller towns.
Nancy said, I coached my son's basketball team in 8th grade. I played in college. Oh, that's cool, Nancy.
Oh, where'd you go to college?
Yeah, where'd you go to college? Amy said, Jack Daniel's distillery is a dry county. Really?
What?
That's wild. Or it used to be. Just no, because of local. Lost Creole said, we need more rosaries that do not break. Y'all want to see my rosary? My rosary was made by my mama. She made this handmade, and I got to say, she's looking to start selling rosaries. She doesn't sell anything currently, but eventually she wants to do it, but it just takes her a really long time right now. But look at this thing.
That
beautiful.
is so nice. Beautiful.
And it is really strong too. Like, it does not break. It's not.
Yeah, some of those
break.
just rip in half. Like the beads just fall everywhere.
Yep. They fall in half, or they are just like so flimsy.
Yeah.
But this is like, it has a lot of heft to it.
Can I see it?
Yeah. And then this leather pouch was created by my buddy Victor Mendoza with Mendoza Leatherworks, and he makes these leather pouches. So I bought a few of them. I bought a couple as a gift, and I bought one for myself, and I kept it in here because the dark blue and the dark brown kind of really complement each other. I like it a lot. So the Mendoza Leatherworks, check out their stuff. Maybe I can get them to make some CDT branded leatherworks, and then have him we'll just like split the revenue with the GRN.
That was beautiful. Shout out to your mom.
Right? Isn't it amazing?
Yeah, I like the heaviness of it too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good. My mom is I think that this is like a $70 rosary, $75 rosary.
I could see that.
Yeah. Like, people want cheap things, but I think we need to invest in having things that last and things that are beautiful.
You pay for what you get, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but shout out to your mom for that. That's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. Jay Coke says, CDT, bless St. Christopher Guardian Angel visor clips for your vehicle. We definitely can't get them blessed if we're going to sell them, but that's a good idea. I don't know how to... That would be a little bit more difficult because we'd have to find a provider for that, and that's more of a niche object, but that's a good idea. Makes sense. It makes sense with the brand, so that's a good idea. Let's see. A friend of mine is designing his own rosary. I'm gonna be honest. I like the enthusiasm, and I like the idea, but at the same time, I just love the traditional rosary. So he's designing this little device, that clicker, basically, that has the beads that are around it in a circle, and they have a center button, and you press it, the beads pop out, and you click them, and you do 10, and there's a counter on it that goes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so you can keep track of your decades. So if you're doing a couple decades here, a couple decades there, you can keep track of them. I like the idea. I like the mission there. I like the traditional rosary. That's all. But it'll come out soon, and I'll probably have him on to talk about the rosary, and whenever it comes out, just support my buddy and see if anybody, and maybe it works better for you. Maybe you'll like it better because you're like, as the problem he's trying to solve, and I understand the problem, and I totally think it's a good idea, is that people will try to pray the rosary and they get lost and they forget. They get distracted, or they put it down and have to come back to it, and it'd be easier for them to pick up where they're going, where they left off. And so I like the idea, but I'll let you be the judge of whether or not you like it or not, whenever it comes out. And if you love it, then praise be to God. That'd be great. So there you go. He spent a lot of money on this thing, getting it designed and made, and it's a huge process. He's been working on this since 2020. He started working on this, and he's just now finishing. 3 years in development. That's crazy to me. Let's see. Jay Coke says a rosary carrier is a good idea. I think so too. Nancy said, Adrian, yes, your mom's rosaries would sell. Yeah, I think so. I mean, they're beautiful. I love it. Lost Creo said, looks like some of mine. Breakable. That's funny. Anything's breakable if you try hard enough. Let's see. I broke the World War II rosary, but it didn't break for 3 years, though. Maybe 4 years, actually. I think I got it in 2018. I broke it this year. So 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Ow, wow, 6 years. Probably 5. Maybe I'm a year off. Let's see. I like the color blue, too, says Ethna. Maybe with a commercial, you needed the inspection. I had a glow-in-the-dark rosary. It was free, though. Yeah, there you go. Alberta said, if sold illegally with no alcohol content enabled, yes. I gave up, finally went to what they call a combat rosary. Not very aesthetic, but has not broken in 3 years. There you go. Alberta said, it's in your shed or garage for yourself, I would think. Adrian, your rosary is beautiful. Thank you, Becky. My mom is very talented. Shout outs to my mom. Amy says, there's a Catholic store in Nashville. Selection of rosaries was almost too much. Mary says, good morning, everyone. I'm surprised you didn't choose to cover St. Kateri Takaoitha, for she is the first U.S.-born Native American to become a saint on her feast day. Well, there's a lot of saints every day. So this is the one I went with. So there you go. Ethan said, I need a rosary holder for sure. Have a missing bead on mine. That stinks. Paul says, sometimes while praying rosary, I fall asleep and wake up 2 or 3 decades into praying. Yeah, see, that's the problem, right? People will do things like that, and then they're like, where did I leave off? And that's the problem he's trying to solve. Yeah, you ever have that happen to you?
Me?
Taylor? Yeah.
No.
No?
I am on top of things.
No, you've never once in your entire life not completed a rosary. Wow.
No,
Very
I think it's the OCD. I think if I weren't to, finish, it would just ruin the rest of my day.
Oh, well, there you go.
OCD, not always bad. Not always bad to have.
Anelia says, can your mom fix rosaries? Mine broke walking into the nativity. Yeah, ask her. Anelia knows my family. Yeah, and then when next time you see her, ask her. I'm sure she'd be happy to. Let's see. Jeff says, sell a CDT magnetic bumper sticker. That's a good idea, too. We should do that. That's a good idea. I mean, we do. I hate bumper stickers because I don't like putting stickers on my car.
Me too.
But if it's magnetic, I'll put it on.
Oh, okay.
However, many people don't have metal on their cars anymore. They're all plastic.
That's true. Yeah, I think my dad was the one that was like, hey, you're never going to put a sticker on your car because if you do, you try to take the sticker off to put it on your new car or whatever.
Looks terrible.
Yeah, it looks terrible.
Man, I am sleepy today. I woke up a little bit early today on accident around
1:30?
Around 2.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, okay, what do I do? So I took a cold shower and I woke up and I was like, oh man, I am like on fire. I feel right awake. And then on my way into work, I was driving and I was like, oh yeah, I'm tired. and then since then I've been sleepy.
I mean, to be fair, you do have a long drive and driving does tire people out.
Yeah.
Do you take showers in the morning or at night?
I prefer to take showers in the morning, but I have to take showers at night because most days I don't wake up early enough to just take a shower at night.
I can't take a
shower in the morning.
I can't take a shower in the morning. If I do, I'm just gonna be exhausted like an hour later. Yeah. It's got to do with like the warm water, just relaxes your body.
Cold water.
I know. I can't get into it though. But people do say when it's like really hot outside to take a cold or cool shower because it'll make you it'll cool you off for longer when you're outside.
Yeah. Nancy says CDT is in Illinois now. Yes, ma'am, it is. We are broadcasting on Catholic Spirit Radio. I think they have 4 stations in Illinois. Let me look it up real quick. Catholic Spirit Radio. I wrote down the information about them. They have 5 stations and 1 to come. In Bloomington and McLean County, Illinois, and Pontiac and Livingston County, Illinois. I don't know. I'm gonna stop saying Illinois. And Lincoln in Logan County, in DeKalb, Sycamore, in Cortland and DeKalb County, in Morris and Grundy County and surrounding counties, and soon this year to be in Rockford area. So if that means anything to you, then now you know. Los Crios said, Adrian, looks like you were sitting in a waiting room at a slip and fall lawyer's office. Yeah.
Better call Saul.
These chairs are not comfortable. I've been striving to find a comfortable way to sit in these chairs.
How long have we had those chairs for?
A decade.
Oh, so, I mean, if it's taken you 5 years to figure out, there's just no way you can.
There's no fun way to sit in these chairs. They're a pain in the rear, literally. Let's see. 2 old for bumper stickers have 1 sticker across the back window, says Amy. Let's see. Heat slowly to soften the glue. Yeah, I guess you could do that if you want to take the time or have a heat gun.
Yeah, I was about to say that seems like a lot of time.
Yeah. Not into the whole virtue of patience thing. Let's see. What are y'all's plans for the weekend? I'm curious. What are your plans for the weekend, Taylor?
Well, I do the Spirit World on Saturdays.
That's right.
I have the afternoon off. So I usually, I don't know, actually. Sunday I try to sleep in as late as possible.
Yeah.
Because that's the one day I have to be able to sleep in. Yeah, I don't really have any plans this weekend.
Yeah, what time do you wake up on Saturday?
I get up at like 8:30.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad at all. Especially compared to Monday through Friday.
Yeah.
When I wake up at like 4:15.
Yeah. Monday through Friday is rough. I was thinking about coming in to the studio tomorrow. I may do that. We'll see.
What time?
I don't know.
Afternoon,
10?
probably.
Yeah.
Just to get some sleep. Some sleep.
Probably wake up at 10 to come in after that. So probably come in as y'all are leaving.
I don't know about construction, though.
Jay Coke says, can you make a CDT record? Adrian sings Christmas songs. Should be a 2 CDT set. Maybe I will. Maybe I'll do the TFP songs. I'll sing the TFP songs.
Do people still buy CDs or?
No, he said record.
Oh, record.
Yeah.
Vinyl.
Yeah, we need to check on the construction. You're right, because if there's major construction going on,
you can't record.
And I can't record anything anyway. So, darn. Thanks for reminding me.
I know. I'm sorry.
It's okay. That's good to know. Otherwise, I'd be coming up here, and that would be so frustrating if I came here and then not able to do anything. Grappling Catholic says, Rosary hike tomorrow in San Antonio. That sounds like fun. Grappling Catholic, let me know when I need to come to San Antonio. We'll set up a sparring match. Alberto says, downtrodden face, Adrian singing. Sorry, dude. I'm sorry to hurt your ears so badly. Los Creole says, showers. More men should have professionals where you need to shower before going to bed. Yeah. If you're doing hard labor, then you gotta shower before going to bed. I agree. Yeah. I mean, I think men in general will be happier doing manual labor than otherwise, to be honest. I know I say that as someone who doesn't do manual labor, but I think that's true. Let's see. Ethan says, I love a walk in nature, so I'll do that this weekend. Oh, that's awesome, Ethan. Praise be to God. Let's see. Nancy says, went to a Fulton Sheen rally last weekend, held at a Byzantine church. Fantastic. That's cool. That's pretty cool. Let's see. Grappling, that sounds like fantastic. Jay Coke says, maybe CDT should sell build your own rosary. Adrian's mom supplies and parts with instructions. That'd be kind of cool. Teach people how to make a rosary. That's a good idea, actually, because, I mean, if you if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. If you teach a man a fish, he'll eat for a lifetime, right? So, that might actually be a good idea. Ethan says, Adrian, sing again for us. I don't know. We'll see. Jay Cook says, Adrian, let me know if you come to San Antonio. We'll take care of you. I don't like the sound of that. We'll take care of you?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Fishy.
I don't know. Sounds a little fishy, yeah. Sounds a little dangerous. I think I'll let you know after I get back from San Antonio. Los Crios said farming. Yeah, honestly, I want to kind of move out on a ranch or something. The problem with farming for me is that I don't like vegetables or fruits. So, but I do like cow, pig, lamb.
You could grow candy. I
could grow candy. That's true. That's totally something that
a stupid joke.
There you go. But no, I like animals. I like to eat them. They're delicious.
Yeah, don't name your animals if you're gonna eat them.
Oh, why? And then I can know who I'm eating.
I know, dude. I'm telling you, man.
Let's see. J Coke gives me a winky face. Yeah, now I'm definitely not telling you J Coke when I'm coming to San Antonio. I'll let you know when I get back. Dangerous.
What if he's a hacker and he could track your phone?
It's true. He could. He could be. Amy says, doesn't like vegetables or fruits. Yeah, I don't eat fruits and vegetables. Adrian, J Coke says, Adrian does like hot foods, fruits, vegetables. What else? I would just give you the short list. I basically eat animal and animal products. That's about it.
Didn't you say you ate a lot of cheese too, though?
Yeah, it's an animal product.
Oh.
Yeah. Dairy.
Good point. Yeah, good point.
Animal and animal products. And then I also like carbs, like bread. I don't really like rice all that much, to be honest. But I like bread. I like tortillas. I like some starches, like potatoes.
Mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes.
Mac and cheese.
Mac and cheese is delicious.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a problem. My poor wife. I don't know what she's gonna do.
Well, I'll tell you this. Carbs is probably, when you're on a diet,
it's
carbs,
literally the devil.
It's the hardest thing to stay away from. That and like soda and snacks.
Well, that's why I did the carnivore diet, because it would be easier to just get rid of it all. Because it once Taylor, being trying to be the devil over here, said he was going to bring me a Hostess cake today, and I was like, "Don't do it, don't do it." He did bring it.
No, I brought two.
Oh,
I did.
no.
I did.
Get behind me, Satan! Get behind me. Now, Los Crios said, if you raise pigs or ducks, you must shower before bed. For sure. Agreed. Let's see. Especially if you're married, because then, there you go. Sneak vegetables in. I do that with my daughter, says Alberto. That's funny. I don't like the taste of it. Like, when I was in the novitiate, we had to eat salad every single day for every single meal. And I ate it. Because we were required to. Under obedience, we had to eat whatever you're given. And I ate it. And I don't like it. I just don't like it. And people are like, Adrian, do you have even tried it? I have tried it. I just don't like it. It's just not good.
Well, you did say you like potatoes.
Yeah, I like potatoes, but that's not in a salad. Potatoes are a starch. They're not a vegetable.
Are they?
Yeah. It's like a corn. Corn's not a vegetable.
No, I don't like.
It's a grain.
I can't eat corn. I don't like it. I take that back. I like cream corn.
Los Crios said shrimp today, Adrian. Some carnivores do not eat seafood. Yeah, I'll eat seafood. I just, honestly,
not with it.
I may just eat nothing and just fast today because I don't want to go out of my way to get shrimp. It's easy to get like fried shrimp. That's easy to get a hold of. But grilled shrimp, it's really expensive to get. And then if you want to make it yourself, I just don't feel like doing it. I'm being lazy. So I just may not eat. I just may fast until tomorrow.
Ooh.
And tomorrow morning, wake up, make some bacon.
Yes.
Eggs. Some sausage. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
With
biscuits and gravy.
No biscuits, no gravy.
Oh yeah, you can't
cheese.
You can't eat carbs. That's right. No biscuits.
Man, I love biscuits and gravy. My mom made biscuits and gravy last week. So good. It's so good. Jaco says, if it moves, Adrian will eat it, which is why everybody stands really still when they're around me. Amy said, my mom told me I held my nose while eating peas one at a time. Don't know who that was. I love peas now. That's funny. Alberto says, pasta with tuna? I could have tuna, but no pasta. There you go.
I hate the smell of tuna.
All right, everybody. We'll see you back Monday or see you in the Telegram chat. God bless you. God love you. We'll see you.
Thank you for joining us on Your Catholic Drive Time. where it is our pleasure to keep you informed and inspired.
Join us Monday through Friday at the same time, right here on your favorite Catholic radio station.
Don't forget to connect with us. Just go to facebook.com/Catholic Drive Time.
Again, that's facebook.com/Catholic Drive Time.
Be sure to share more than just us today. Share Jesus with everyone you meet.
Bye now, and God love you.